The 5 seed Los Angeles Rams take on the 4 seed Carolina Panthers, winners of the NFC South. This game takes place at Bank of America Stadium, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time from Bank of America Stadium, like I said, on Fox. Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, Pam Oliver from the sideline on this one. We'll get a high of about 72 in this one. We'll get there about kickoff, so we'll be at the peak of the heat right about the time we're starting. 15% chance of precipitation near kickoff, and that does increase a little bit as the game continues. But rain chances do increase as the evening goes on, so we could get away with a dry game. Not impossible, though, that our biggest weather issue is actually trying to go home. So as the week has gone on, it looked like we were going to get a rain game. And then as the week has so far gone on, I've seen that the percentages of rain, it looks like it's going to be geared more towards the afternoon. So we may get away with a dry game here. So that's good news. And lucky that this game is actually on Saturday, not Sunday, as Carl found a spider. So that there was actually a high of 53 on Sunday. So the Rams actually hit a nice weather situation with this game, not only being on Saturday, but also being the early game on Saturday. Kind of lucked out there, I'll be completely honest. For you bettors, minus 10.5 for the Rams, minus 620 on the money line. These playoff numbers are absolutely insane, by the way, and the over-under 46.5. That puts the Rams winning this game about 28-17-ish. We don't have pants picks for you, as we have wrapped that up. Your champion, your pants picks champion, Rams House. I am still looking to do something for Rams House, but I don't want to give spoilers away, so you just got to stay tuned, man. Keep on checking that out, which is good news. So, yeah, something's coming, though. Rams House. I promise. All right. This could be some good stuff, though. Assumptions are that the Rams are in the white jerseys. Nothing has been announced as of right now, so we're just kind of waiting to see. But we don't know what the Carolina Panthers are wearing either. Just too early in the week to know, but I'm guessing the Rams will announce their uniform combo tomorrow. And I don't want to get like sentimental here or anything like that, but I feel like it was like week 2 just yesterday, and I was talking about this season's going to go by real fast. All right. And so I think this is my moment now to just remind you again of like, yeah, I wasn't lying. Okay. It goes by way too quick. We're already done, man. We're already almost done. We only got 4 Rams football games to go, hopefully. That's what the hope is. But we're at a point right now, I mean, coming into this game and coming into this, doing this show and stuff like that, it's like, I understand fully that this could be the last game preview of the season, and that kind of just makes me want to nail it. I don't know. I don't get necessarily sad about it. The Rams game day existing is my biggest win. Winning football games is awesome. It's cool to watch the Rams win, but I get to hang out with some incredible people, drink some incredible beers, and watch an incredible football team, and as many of those as I can get. I'm absolutely fired up about. So if the Rams do lose this game, my main sadness will be the fact that I don't get more Rams games until next year. I want as many as I can get, man, as many as I can get. But just that's just it, man. Is just kind of take this week is it just kind of that acknowledgement, just that quick acknowledgement. I understand that the Rams are very heavily favored in this game. I'll go as far as to say we probably don't lose this game. But again, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. And this team's already beat the Rams before. What if they come in with a different game plan than they did last time, and it kind of just, they just are able to just do some damage, man. So who knows? So I think that's just my quick reminder for you. Just this week may feel like it's going very fast. For me, I think it's going about normal speed. I don't know. I've heard some people say it's going slow. I've heard some people it's going fast. I feel like I'm dead center. I feel like this is I'm just working still. It's a Rams game week, and that's all that matters to me. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just a reminder for you. History of this matchup. This is the 25th all-time meeting between the Rams and the Panthers. Panthers lead the all-time series 14-10. This is the second playoff game all-time between these two. The first one came in the Divisional Round, January 10th of 2004, so the 03 season. That was a field goal fest turned double overtime thriller. That was the final postseason game, also, by the way, played at the Edward Jones Dome. So in the city of St. Louis, that was actually the final playoff game. Steve Smith Sr., just a regular Steve Smith at the time, he was the one that scored that touchdown in overtime, and that was just such a heartbreaker, man. I remember watching that game. I just remember being like, just the field goal, and then it was like a fumble recovery touchdown. Marshall, I think, got like a 1-yarder. Just field goals. No scoring in the first overtime. Go to second, and then that deep ball for Steve Smith was just, oh man, that was a tough one, man. And then the last Last playoff game for the Rams at the Edward Jones Dome. Absolutely crazy there, man. First game between these two came on September 17th, 95. The Rams won that one 31-10. The most recent game between these two, you may remember it. It was week 13, 31-28 by the Panthers. That was Stafford's first interception thrown since week 2. This was a week 13 game. That's crazy. He threw 2 in that game. First one was a ball off the dome of a Derek Brown and into the hands of Nick Scott. And that other one was the Mike Jackson pick 6. So not great. But like I said, it was the pick 6 by Mike Jackson, which, okay, 3-point game. I'm not trying to discredit anybody here. I just want to get that out of the way first, because Panthers are a playoff team. They're literally in the playoffs. So say what you want about how they got in, whatever. They did enough. That's all that matters, right? So in that first game, they had a pick 6. They had 2 touchdowns that came on 4th down, and then their last touchdown came on 3rd down. And the reason that one's relevant, that last one in there, is because that is decision time. If that ball's not completed, if that just nothing cool happens that play, it's decision time. All right. And I understand the decision time too. Those are big gambles on 4th down. If that's an incomplete ball, it's our ball. Instead of a touchdown, Matthew Stafford's launching rockets the other way. You know what I mean? So obviously it happened. You can't take them away. That literally did happen, but they got 2 4th down touchdowns and a pick 6. That is 21 points in a 3-point game, 21 points that don't feel like something you can just bank on again. Do we think that the Panthers are going to score on 4th down 2 times and get another defensive touchdown? I don't know. I don't think so. It's not impossible, but let's not pretend like that's like their game plan of like, let's get to 4th and 1 and throw a deep ball or get a pick 6. So that's not a realistic pathway to try to say that this is going to happen again. And it took all of that and the Panthers playing damn near a perfect game for them to win by 3 points. So I say all that to say that I am not going to lock in any wins or talk about next week's games or anything like that without knowing what happens in this one. But let's call it what it is. The Rams are the stronger football team over the Carolina Panthers, even though they're at home. And I understand the argument there too. I understand a lot of people say like, well, the Rams have what is it? Yeah, 3 more wins than the Panthers, and obviously we should be at home because we're a better football team than them, stuff like that. It's like, hey, we had a chance to win our division and we didn't. All right, they did, so they get a home game. That's how it works. I don't think that should change. I don't care how you get into the playoffs or how you win your division. That's the goal: win your division, then you get a home game. We didn't do that. All right, so the fact that we can get a home game that's our fault. We had a chance. If we beat Seattle in week 17 or 16 or whatever, 16, then we win the division probably. I mean, in fairness, we did lose to Atlanta after that and stuff like that, but there's all that. But the ball control of it, man, I mean, they obviously, too, in that first game, they ran 11 more offensive plays than the Rams and had 11 more minutes of time of possession than the Rams. So they just had the perfect game plan that day. And then also you couple that with some Rams mistakes, 3 turnovers from Matthew Stafford, and just kind of one of those days where just didn't seem to really stick. And then also that was only our second game without Quentin Lake after his injury. So I think some of those deep balls, those 2, especially on 4th down, I think that you can at least kind of say that maybe we could have played those differently. I'm not going to say they would have been incomplete, would have been interceptions, anything like that, but we can comfortably say that maybe something's different when your captain and an absolutely incredible player is on the field than when he's not. Can I say that? Can I say that we can assume that we would be better if our best players are out there? I feel comfortable with that. And again, the Panthers did defeat the Rams in week 13. So, I mean, as much as we want to sit here and say, yeah, we're going to look at that tape, we're going to adjust, we're going to come out and be on fire. What if they're looking at the tape and saying like, okay, we missed on this, let's correct all these things and let's go attack? Absolutely reasonable. That's a really good coaching staff out there as well. Some former Rams who are on the Panthers, plenty of Super Bowl champions on this list, by the way. Right guard, Austin Corbett. Defensive lineman, Bobby Brown III, Giga Maggies. Defensive lineman, Ashawn Robinson. Christian Roseboom, an inside linebacker. Cornerback, Robert Rochelle. He was a new addition. He actually got signed in week 13 after I did my show. So I did not mention him because he signed, I think, on Thursday. Also, safety Nick Scott. He's the one that murdered Debo that one day. That was awesome. Defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero. Obviously, I think he's an absolutely phenomenal coach. I think that he's on the track to be head coach rather soon. I don't know if it's going to be in this cycle, but I do think that he gets in that conversation soon. And then also outside linebacker coach A.C. Carter was with the Rams for a bit, actually last year. And then special teams assistant. We talked about this one last time we played. Darren Bates, the special teams assistant. He was the one that was jumping over the lines for field goals in St. Louis, blocking field goals. And then dude from Seattle did it, and it was like news, and like they were showing the highlight all over Sports Center. It was like, yo, Darren Bates did that 4 weeks ago. What are we talking about over here, man? But either way, doesn't get credit, but hey, he's a coach. That's good. Some milestones that we're looking at here. These are wrapped up. These are done. There's no trying to reach other stuff because the regular season, like I said, is done. 23rd most yards in a single season by an offense in NFL history. Hell yeah, Rams. Third most in a single season in Rams history. 21st all-time was the 2018 Rams. 26 yards behind them, but had an extra game, so I don't know how much you can count that. And then fourth, the 2000 Rams. That was a pretty good football team. Their current team is 366 behind that team, but again, with an extra game. Eighth most touchdowns in a single season in NFL history for the Rams, and then the 2000 Rams had 2 more touchdowns, which is 6th all-time, 65 TDs this year. And that's all across the board. That includes Jared versus blocked field goal, all that stuff. Sean McVay, with Les Snead, becomes the 17th head coach GM combo to hit 100 wins even. That does include postseason action. That also means that Sean McVay has reached his 100th win. This is also the 7th playoff season for the Rams head coach, and that is officially the most playoff visits for any Rams head coach. He does pass John Robinson, who did visit the postseason 6 times. Quarterback Matthew Stafford ends the season with a total of 19,407 passing yards in Rams history. That is 4th in our history. He's behind just Roman Gabriel, Mark Bulger, and Jim Everett. He is 3rd in TD passes in Rams history, just 1 behind Jim Everett, 13 behind Roman Gabriel. So if he comes back next year, we should expect him to be leading those numbers there. He's still 12th in interceptions, so that's cool. 3rd in touchdowns, 12th in interceptions. Those are good numbers. 4,707, that is the 3rd most passing yards in a single season in Rams history, 47th most in NFL history. Most passing touchdowns in a single season in Rams history with 46. That beats the previous record by 5 touchdowns. He is currently tied for 7th most in NFL history in a single season. Good stuff there. 8 interceptions, tied for 86th most in a single season in Rams history. 4th highest TD percentage in Rams history with minimum 200 attempts, and he was sacked 23 times, which is tied for 44th most in Rams single season history. Kyron Williams, K-Dub, he is currently 7th in Rams history in rushing yards. He is 1,570 behind Todd Gurley, and he does have a higher yards per attempt, which I thought that was rather interesting. He's currently 6th in Rams history in rushing touchdowns, 36, 13th most rushing touchdowns in a single season in Rams history this year. He did fall 47 yards short of last year's Kyron Williams total. He officially has more starts, by the way, in a single season for a running back in Rams history. He started all 17. That's pretty cool. That's obviously never happened before, so cool stuff there. 6th offensive Ram ever to start in all 17 games. That's this year Stafford, 21 Kupp, Jefferson and Stafford, and then 23 Nakua, the only other offensive players for the Rams to start all 17 games. Puka Nacua is 12th in Rams history in receiving yards. Crazy. He's only in year 3, so that's nuts. 17th in receiving touchdowns. 2nd most receptions in a single season in Rams history, behind just 21 Cooper Kupp, who was a superhero. Nacua does have a higher catch percentage this year. Tied for 7th most in NFL history, by the way, in receptions this year. 3rd most receiving yards in a single season in Rams history, just 66 yards behind the 1995 Isaac Bruce year, and 14th most in NFL history single season. So, and 2nd in 2025. So he could have been 13th if JSN didn't do his thing. Davante Adams, 3rd most receiving touchdowns in a single season in Rams history, with the 14 leading the NFL this season. 1st player in NFL history to lead the league in receiving touchdowns for 3 separate teams. 2021, Cooper Kupp had 16, so he was 2 short of that. And 1951, Elroy Hirsch, holy moly, had 17. Tied for 38th most in a single season, of course, in NFL history. First non-1,000-yard season for Davante Adams since 2019, so where he had 997, so he was right in line for it, but he's hit 997 2 times, actually. And then Tutu Atwell, his 88-yard reception is the 8th longest in Rams history and the longest since 2017 when Robert Woods had that 94-yard catch at the Coliseum against the Houston Texans. That game was hilarious because Rob Havenstein definitely held J.J. Watt real hard on that one. And you can hear somebody yell, "That's holding!" And then just like no one cares. So we scored a touchdown. That was when I think that was the play he gets up on the thing and he's high-fiving YG? Is that the I don't remember. That was also the longest reception of the season for Tutu Atwell, the Tutu train, that 88-yard catch. But the second longest play from scrimmage. The number one longest play from scrimmage was Bijan Robinson's 93-yard run against the Rams. So Tutu could look over at the defense and be like, yo, man, what the heck, guys? He screwed up my numbers here. Let's get into the breakdown here. So we're looking at the Rams offense going against that Panthers defense. We're not doing a deep dive into these numbers. These are just going to be your regular season numbers. We will keep these for the Rams for as many games as we play here. But the Rams ended with the number 2 total offense going against the number 15th total defense in the Panthers. Rams have the number 1 passing attack in the NFL, 15th ranked unit against the pass for the Panthers. Running the ball, Rams really did a good job later in the second half of the season here, increasing their numbers up to 7th, going against the 20th ranked run defense in Carolina. The average points being put up, no one did it more than the Rams, 30.5. That's best in the league. And the Carolina Panthers gave up about 22.5. That's tied for 15th. 17th, middle of the road for the Rams on converting third downs, but going against one of the worst teams against third down on defense, and in the Carolina Panthers, they are 31st. So obviously, the numbers jump out there big time, man. This Carolina Panthers defense has not been incredible all season. They've had their bright spots and they've got really good players, but I think it's more of a, I don't know, man. It is kind of hard to pinpoint. They love to run some cover 3. I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive than that personally, but I mean, who am I? Just a dude in Colorado talking ball right now, but I think that would be a little bit more aggression, a little bit more just 2 deep instead of 3. I think would help them out a ton. But again, who am I? But the Rams had 2 games where the offense seemed to struggle, and Stafford threw multiple picks. Atlanta and Carolina, which happened to be Ejiro Rivero and Raheem Morris. What do they know, man? What do they know? So we got to figure that out, I think. But the Rams have not attempted a 2-point conversion this season. I found that rather interesting. Only 2 teams didn't, the Tennessee Titans and the LA Rams, probably for 2 different reasons, if we're being real. That's good. Rams only team to score more than 500 points this season, and that was by a margin. The Rams outscored the rest of the NFL. And then the Rams will be likely starting Justin Dedich again. Tough battle against some really good DTs out there for the Carolina Panthers. Coleman and Warren next to him will definitely need to make sure that he's got the help when he does need it. And on the Panther side there, just a quick note that Trayvon Merrick did not play the last time these teams played. He was suspended, so he did not get any action there. Opposing players we're keeping our eyes on. We're going to start with inside linebacker Christian Broseboom, as he used to be called, but now he's the enemy. He is one of a few defensive starters who didn't play against the Rams. A few defensive starters that didn't play against the Rams back in Week 13, but he does lead the team in tackles. He did, like I said, miss a few games, but he's been absolutely awesome in Carolina. The comments that I hear from Carolina Panthers fans every time I do interact is that one of the first comments they offer to me. It's not me asking about Roseboom. It's them being like, yo, Roseboom's sick. And then I get to respond like, yeah, I was always a big fan. We did improve there, though. So, I mean, we got better, although I like Roseboom. He's dope. But he knows us, obviously, and obviously this is his first time playing against the Rams, so it does stand to reason that he'll be kind of fired up for this one. Don't need to get fired up for the playoffs, and if you do need help, then you're probably in the wrong sport anyway, but I'm sure he won't have any issues getting fired up for this one. Next up, we're going to go a combo here, J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson, obviously an extremely solid cornerback duo, but we've got a pretty solid wide receiver duo that they've got to try to cover, so that's good. Jackson, of course, had that pick 6 against us in the first meeting, and Horn, he's just been solid all season. Combined for 9 interceptions on the year, Horn with 5, and combined 27 passes knocked down. Jackson with 19. That's a bunch, dude. Emmanuel Forbes is up in that same range as well, but that's a lot of passes knocked down. And J.C. Horn, by the way, the only Panthers Pro Bowler, so he'll be playing wherever the Pro Bowl's at. I have no idea. I haven't watched the Pro Bowl in years. And then last one here, we're going to go back with Trayvon Merrick. He didn't play in our first meeting. Like I said, he's had an incredible season. He is tied for third on the team in sacks as a safety. He is third in tackles, first in solo tackles. Third in tackles, that is behind two former Rams, Christian Roseboom, as well as Nick Scott, the safety. You don't want to have, by the way, just historically speaking, two safeties in your top three in leading tackles. So that typically means you're not crushing it. 3 to see on the Rams side here. We'll start with wide receiver Davante Adams. Tay is back. We're fired up about it, man. He missed the last 3 games of the season, but still led the league in TD receptions. Love that, man. 14 and got that by a margin. I think we see how much of an impact Adams that he truly has on this offense. I think that we've all kind of forgotten that we've been like, we still have monsters out on the field, which I think is why we forget that there's monsters not on the field. You know, when Puka Nacua is doing Puka Nacua things, it's easy to forget that Davante Adams is on the sideline healing up a hammy, you know? So I think it's good to remember that, the impact of Adams is very legitimate on this offense. And I think that we're going to see that this weekend. Adams came in for 2 reasons for the Rams. 2 reasons: red zone targets and a playoff push. The red zone targets absolutely worked. 1-yard TDs all day. And say what you need to. I mean, I feel like I'm probably not going to get pushback on MVP talk here on this show, but 1-yard touchdowns are not easy in the NFL. And anybody that says that, just introduce them to ball, because they clearly have not met. But the red zone thing worked. It's time for the playoffs. Time for that postseason push. Time for us to see that to work. So that's good news. And then I would say he probably was ready for action last week, and maybe even against Atlanta. But it was probably one of those things of like, let's just be sure. Okay, like we're already in the playoffs. Let's just be sure. Next up here, we'll go with tight end Tyler Higbee. He got his feet wet last week, getting into the end zone, which was rather awesome. I think that he probably got more reps than was anticipated, with Terrence Ferguson dropping out via practice earlier in the week. But got some rust knocked off. I like that. It's time for playoffs, though. Playoff Higbee, who was not available in the Rams Super Bowl game. Obviously, we were down to Kendall Blanton in that game. So for Higbee to be able to be on field and actually help the Rams make a playoff push or Super Bowl push would actually be really, really awesome. But the offense just with Higbee, it just feels smooth, man. I don't know. The Rams have a bunch of interchangeable, awesome tight ends, but I think that when Higbee's out there, it's not an explosion thing. It's just a smoothness thing. I think that it just less mistakes from the group, I think, is ultimately what I'm looking at when it comes to Higbee being on the field. And of course, last up here, we'll go with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford coming off of his best regular season. Probably the best regular season in Rams quarterbacking history. That the 46-8 ratio is absolutely absurd. We haven't even come close to that in any capacity in our history as far as a ratio like that. The yards, stuff like that, we've seen that plenty of times, but we have not seen a 46-8 ratio, not even remotely close to that. So obviously that is blown away, the numbers from previous years for the Rams. Unsettled, of course, but this could be the last few games of Matthew Stafford's Hall of Fame career. And I say that just to kind of remind you that there's a lot of moving pieces. All right, we don't know what his thought process is. He may already know that he's coming back or that he's retiring. We don't know the inner workings of the Matthew Stafford brain. I don't think I could handle it. I'll be completely honest. Like, if you try to inject all the knowledge that Matthew Stafford has into my brain, I'd probably just explode. I wouldn't be able to, and I'll just start launching footballs. My biggest key here on the Rams offensive side is just going to be the turnover battle. Matthew Stafford had 3 turnovers last time these teams played. Don't do that, I think, is a good start. I think. But don't let them score on defense. Don't give them short fields. If you let Bryce Young in this offense gain some confidence and let them kind of get some short fields and be able to put up points, because it can be like a quick turnover, 3 and out, but they're in position for a field goal. You know, it's like stuff like that is obviously what we would like to avoid. So I'm interested to see the difference in how the Rams choose to attack in this one and how their game plan kind of shakes out. I just feel like we see a lot more heavy ground attack in this one than we did in the first matchup. So that's just my thoughts. I'm kind of just hoping we get the football first. Just get the ball first and then just set the tone for the game, I think, and with your offense, not your defense. I think that's absolutely critical there. Let's flip over to the other side here. We'll go to the Rams defense taking on that Panthers offense. So the Panthers offense sits near the bottom of the league there, 27th in the NFL. Rams defense right in the middle of the road there, 16th. Passing the football, also pretty low for the Panthers offense there, 26th in the NFL. With the Rams defense is 19th against the pass. Running the ball, 19th ranked unit for that Panthers offense, while the Rams are 12th against the run. Average points being put up, 18.3 for the Panthers. That's 27th. Rams give up 20.4. That is 10th. That average definitely dipped over the last 3-ish weeks or so, as we were up closer to 17 and tied for second for a really long time there. And third down conversion rate, 25th for the Panthers offense. The Rams are tied for 7th in giving up third down. So obviously the Rams defense, none of their total overall numbers really jump out off the page to you, but they're going against an offense that also has no numbers that really jump out to you. But the real thing with the Rams is the hidden numbers that are not just total yards, not just, points points are obviously a big one, but there's not just like total yards and passing yards and stuff like that. It's like, because the Rams will let you move the football on them and wait for their spot to attack you, and that doesn't always work out. Obviously, I'm thinking like specifically the playoff game or the game against the Seahawks in the playoff or in the overtime where it kind of felt like the Rams were going to make a move on Sam Darnold at some point, and then it was just going to be over and the Rams were going to win, and that just didn't happen. They were able to work it all the way down and get the 2-point conversion, which I fully expected them to do. Why would you give the Rams the football back? We would definitely just go win, right? So that's kind of where there's so many, just like I said, hidden numbers in there. Like the Rams are 6th. They're 6th highest pressure rates. They pressured Brissett 60% of the time. Sorry, Jacoby, man, that's not cool. You're like out of the playoffs and it's just chaos. I can't even imagine like what he was seeing. It's just blue and yellow all over the place, man. Just absolutely crazy. But Rams highest pressure rate since 2021. If you remember, that was a pretty cool year. Last game, the Rams got beat on the 4th and short deep balls. But again, like I had mentioned earlier, that was the second game that the Rams were without Quentin Lake, who went out in the first Seahawks game. So that was unfortunate. We were still adjusting to his absence, but that was the first game too, where it was like, oh, this is a bit of a problem. Like we're gonna need to figure this out, because Quentin Lake turns out he's very good. He's so good, in fact, that we signed him to an extension before he was even back. Like it was like, oh, this is what the world is like without Quentin Lake on our football team. Get him back here, man, for as many years. So obviously we got that. But the Panthers offense just really isn't that explosive. They don't have a whole lot of those plays or those moments where you're like, oh, man, watch out for these guys. What they do well is just kill games and kind of treat it like a little bit of like some Philadelphia action, where they're kind of boring to watch, but it's calculated boringness. They're going to try to get, they want to do a good job on first down. They want to get to 2nd and 5. And then from there, then they'll maybe try a pass or whatever. So, but they're good at getting to 3rd and short and then just kind of like, and I know their ratings here are like 25, so like that, but they're good at holding on to the ball. At least they were against us. And I didn't watch every Carolina Panthers game. I won't. All right. I'm not going to do that. I don't have enough time, but from what I saw against the Rams, is they just did a good job of playing keep away, which I would assume is their game plan again this week, but who knows, man. So opposing players we're keeping our eyes on. We're going to start with wide receiver Tet McMillan. McMillan is he ends his rookie season over 1,000 yards. That's absolutely awesome. Solid addition for Bryce Young. And even if they do lose this week, I think that this team should feel really good about that combo. I think that making it to the playoffs, even the way that they did, I think that they can certainly take that into next season and try to build off of it. I think they're also set up in a way where they can add some pieces into their team for next year and truly make a push. And then also you just lost, I think the Bucks are a very good team, but I think you just lost the best head coach in the division in Raheem Morris. So I think it did get a little bit easier for you if you're the Carolina Panthers. But I think that ultimately, yeah, that's going to be one of those things where all offseason, that's going to be a conversation with the Carolina Panthers is like, yeah, but Bryce and Tet, that's a sweet combo, man. Like let those guys grow together. And who knows, maybe the Panthers will try to make some kind of crazy moves and move off of Bryce or something like that. I don't think they should, but it's also not my team. So But they should feel really awesome about that duo, the Bryce Young and Ted McMillan duo. It works well, man. He's an extremely talented player. Bryce Young's awesome, so Ted McMillan number one there. Next up, combo running back Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, rushing duo that has I would say semi-relatable production than our running back combo, but just lower numbers. And so there's not a way to say that, I feel like, without being like a little bit rude about it, but it's not my intention at all. Cause I think Rico Dowdle, I mean, I was putting him on anytime touchdowns most of the year. And then, Chuba Hubbard, obviously we know his talent. So, but it seems like they do about what the Rams running backs do, but like at a JV level. And that's, again, not intended to be a shot at anybody. I think that these guys are awesome, but our guys, Kyron and Blake, are incredible running backs. Their success rates 1 and 2 in the NFL this year. So that's all you need to know, really. But the last meeting, the Rams did really well against Dowdle, but Hubbard was the one who just had a really consistent day. He just kept on. It seemed like every time he was carrying the ball, it was 5 yards. It was 6 yards. It was 4 here. It was just getting really frustrating. It was like 2nd and 6. First down, stuff like that was that was kind of crushing us. So he was just having a consistent day, like I said, and he did get that receiving touchdown on the Rams. Ended the year with 3 receiving touchdowns, only 1 rushing touchdown for Chuba Hubbard. Thought that was interesting. And last up here, we'll go with quarterback Bryce Young. Bryce Young is no stranger to big stages, but this is his first trip to the NFL postseason. It's football, sure, but playoffs are a different world. It's a whole different level of action. You get, Chris Shula and Sean McVay cooking up some playoff game plans. It's probably going to be a little bit different feel and energy from a Week 13 game plan because it's do or die now, man. Like we're sitting, each team is, it's like I picture. I don't know if this will make sense to anybody, but I picture American Gladiators when they're on the thing with those big Q-tip looking guys, and then they hit each other. That's it, man. It feels like that's what it is. It's like, and anything can happen. You make a wrong move here, and then you get a Q-tip to the back or whatever. I don't know what those things are called. And then you're done, even if you're the better one. So, I mean, that's kind of how I've always pictured the playoffs in my brain. It's just like when I'm thinking about something, I always picture that scene from SpongeBob where he's going through the files. Just part of my brain. I don't know what it is, but yep, that American Gladiator. Payo, if you don't know, American Gladiator is this ridiculous show. Whatever. Okay. But Bryce, I mean, how he shows up for this game, I think will greatly impact his future as an NFL starter. I think if he comes in and has an absolute dud of a game, looks terrible, low completion percentages, looking like 40, throws 3 picks, nothing crazy, doesn't look good at all, I think that the Carolina Panthers will be like, all right, hold on. But if he comes in and looks awesome, I think that could be a total game changer for him. I do think that his career, as unfortunate as it is, I think that the future of Bryce Young in the NFL, I think, does hinge pretty greatly on this because it takes a lot for people to be able to turn trust around. I mean, we are still reluctant to say that Sam Darnold's decent. As an NFL coverer, everybody's still like, well, I mean, is he though? It's 2 good years now. It's like, do we say it? It's like, so it takes a lot to recover from when you look really, really bad. So that's kind of my point there. But he's already behind the 8 ball as they backed into the postseason. So I think that most fans kind of already look at the Carolina Panthers like they shouldn't be here. So you couple that in with the fact that this is also Bryce Young's first playoff game. That's a lot of pressure. And look, I don't know how he's going to handle it. I like Bryce Young. I'm a fan, actually. I think that he's awesome. But I think that the way that they got into the playoffs, needing the Falcons to win, losing a couple at the end of the year, stuff like that, and then also just the way that you win the NFC South, which is blatantly the weakest division and stuff like that, I just think it's one of those where a lot of people are not giving them any credit. So that being said, I think that Bryce Young could potentially have a big day. You never know. A lot of people are saying they shouldn't even be here, though. So if he does look terrible, everybody's just going to be like, yep, see, should have been here. But if they look awesome, I mean, what's the story going to be? I have no idea. No idea what the story is going to be like if the Panthers look incredible. And what if they win this game? I mean, then I think conversation's very different, obviously. 3 to C on the Rams defensive side here. We'll start with outside linebacker Jared Verse. Yes, Jared Verse feels a lot like this is where Jared really starts to show up, right? Right? Kind of feels like this is it, man. Production maybe not be where we wanted it to be at for the season. He wasn't really in the conversations for like defensive player of the year and stuff like that. And in fairness, obviously it's Myles Garrett. There's not even really a competition for that one. You break the sack record, DPOY, man. That's just the way it is. But he's obviously a maniac. He gets a lot more attention this year than he did his rookie season, so that's something to consider. But it just kind of feels like the way he played in the playoffs last year, this might, like, we may find out. He's only got 2 playoff games in his career. We may find out that Jared Verse is a playoff guy. You're like, just get to the playoffs and he's just going to destroy everybody. It could be it, man. There is something different about the playoffs and the atmosphere and the mood and the energy that go into it that we want to be able to say that you can tap into that at any time. But in September, that's not there. It doesn't exist yet. You're still, getting into it and stuff. When you get to this point and you're beat up, you know that the other guys across from you is beat up, and it's just a battle of wills at that point. That feels like a Jared Verse thing, man. It feels like that's where Jared Verse starts to show up big time. So I'm keeping my eyeballs on Jared Verse. I know that he had more sacks than he did rookie season, all that stuff. So he's in the right direction, all that. But it does feel like it's potential that we see the fact that Jared Verse is a playoff guy. That, like, I mean, it's not like he had a bad regular season by any means, but it's one of those things where I just feel like Rams fans put a lot of pressure on him to put up crazy numbers. And I think that some people need to remember that he's not Aaron Donald. No one's Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. No one else. Right? Not Jared Verse even. Aaron Donald almost killed Jared Verse. It just didn't work out. And that was the warm-up. And that was true. That's the crazy part, man. Next up, here we go with safety Quentin Lake. He did not play against the Panthers the last time these teams faced off. His absence hit so hard that they signed him to an extension before he was even activated back. Absolutely incredible stuff there, man. Massive upgrade to the secondary as we enter second season. He was missed blatantly. I don't know how else to put it. Quentin Lake is that good that when he is out, you can feel it. Just like when Aaron Donald missed couple of games later in his career where it was like, oh, Aaron Donald's not on the field. You could tell, it's just one of those things, man. It's like when Steven Jackson back in the day wasn't in there. It was like, it's all right, Kenneth Darby, let's get something done, dude. But it wasn't the same action, man. So I just feel like Quentin Lake is one of those guys, man. He's absolutely up there. Captain Q. Love to see it. And also, by the way, just as a little sidebar here, if you have not seen the Right on Q with Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams, check that out. Pause this and come back or something, man. You have to check that out. Absolutely incredible. And speaking of things that are absolutely incredible, the Rams have put out Sean McVay mic'd up in Week 18. I didn't realize how much I needed that in my life. I don't know. I had no clue that would change my week. That I'd watch that and almost shed a tear, dude. I don't know. I get very weird about this time of year. I get real sentimental and stuff like that. Don't hold it against me, all right? It's coming to an end, and I'm just trying to soak it all in while I can, all right? I do it all year, but now it's like trying to hold on a little tighter. You know what I mean? So you see stuff like that, and it's like, man, this is cool. I just love this team too. So there is that part. And next up here, we'll go with linebacker Nate Landman. 8 total tackles in the first meeting, so nothing too crazy for us there. But great year out of Nate, and another extension getter of just being an awesome in-season guy there. But he's one of the reasons that Landman was brought in, along with Tuna Ford, by the way, who is not on the 3 to C, but certainly can be, was to stop the run, help against the run. And 8 tackles in the first meeting, obviously not terrible or anything like that, but I just want to be able to stuff up those runs. Like I said, when we were talking about the Panthers offense and Dowdle and Hubbard, I mean, it seemed like they were just able to pop off, 5 a carry when it was Hubbard in the game. So stuff like that, I just want to be able to rally that. And I think Landman and Puna, in fairness, are going to be very big parts of that. My biggest key for the Rams defense here is just going to be get off the field. Don't allow 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and short. We know that they like to attack on that, and they have successfully done it to us on multiple occasions. But if you think the Panthers went all out and were trying to pull out stuff and dug deep into the playbook in our first meeting, well, it feels like you haven't seen nothing yet, unless they're out. But I don't know. It's one of those things where, like I said earlier, the Rams haven't attempted a 2-point conversion. What's our 2-point conversion play? Like, we probably have a banger of a play that we could pull out in the playoffs at some point for a 2-point conversion. But it's probably just an Adams fade, I would assume. I don't know, but those plays are crazy. So Very difficult to defend when you have two Hall of Famers throwing footballs to each other. That's what happens though when you have the MVP launching rockets. It's whatever. But I just think that the Panthers could dig deep into their bag, man. And it's one of those things too where it's like they went for it on fourth down, got us on 2 touchdowns on fourth down in that first game. But then this one, it's one of those where it's like they're going to send out the punt team. And we're like, oh, okay, they're punting. It's fourth down. But then it's like Johnny Hecker's be like, psych, And I just feel like it's going to happen in this one. We were expecting it in the first one. I feel like it happens in this one. So that's I'm keeping my eyes on that. Just because the punt team comes out on fourth down, we know that when Johnny Hecker is your guy, that doesn't not necessarily mean that you are absolutely kicking that ball to the other team. But keep them behind the sticks and don't let them don't get beat deep multiple times. If you got to let it happen one time just to shake some rust off and get a conversation with Aubrey Pleasant on the sideline so that gets buttoned down, then so be it. But just get it out of the way and then let's not do it again. But that's going to be obviously easier said than done, obviously. But Quentin Lake being back, that should be a big help there. Like I said on those fourth down plays, we can't guarantee that would have made a big impact or that he would have picked the ball off or made a hit to dislodge a ball, anything like that. We don't know. We'll never know. The games have already happened, and he didn't play in it. But it's one of those things where we can look back on and say that was the first time that we were able to say, yeah, we're missing Quentin Lake. We're missing him bad. So, because the week before that, I think that was the week. I want to say that was the week we actually just beat the butt cheeks off the Buccaneers. So the buck cheeks. Stupid. But that is your game preview, man. We are in the playoffs. Fired up about it, man. Make sure you join us on Tuna and the Sheriff. That's going to be weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. LA time. Broadcast live on the First and Tuna Podcast YouTube channel and Ram Showcase Facebook page. We are bringing back our trivia question this week for the playoffs. I'll find something to give away. If we go to the Super Bowl, I've got a really good giveaway, or we'll save it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I will have a trivia question, so make sure you just do, you got your... I did not give you the answer in this game preview, so just make sure you know your Rams versus Panthers history, and you should be all right in that regard there. But again, that'll be on the pregame live stream, so that starts roughly an hour before kickoff. That I'll be hopping on for that one as I'll head down to my buddy's house to catch some game action. But of course, yeah. Rams Panthers playoffs. Second playoff game ever against the Panthers. That first one did not go our way. They lead all time against us, man, trying to even it up. They beat us earlier this year. Time for some payback. Let's keep playing some Rams football, right? Right? Sorry.